do me a favor and make sure you stop by and let me know how these videos worked out for you tomorrow morning before the final start. I'm gonna be there pretty early, so stop by, let's say around 8 o'clock, about 30 minutes before final start, because I just want to know how you're doing. Okay, so that being said, this is your practice final problem number 19, and the thing I just want to point out, let me start over. Don't forget that if this is angle A, then this is little a there, right? And if this is angle C here, then this is little c opposite there. And of course, the 32 here is little b because it's opposite of angle B there. So that being said, notice that we can already find angle A here, follow the purple, because if I know these two angles, I know I can take 180 minus those two angles, because triangle always adds up to 180, and I get 121. Now, as you can see, that didn't help us, but remember, every time you get an answer, check your choices. Sometimes you can start eliminating answers. So we agree with the answer key here so far. We know angle A is 121, right? So now what? So now that we have that settled, well, let's find little c. Little c over here. Follow the black, opposite of angle C. See, reason why we're going to find this one is because we know the angle 17 degrees. That's opposite with little c. So notice I can say sine of 17 degrees goes over little c. And that equals, and if you look carefully, we already know that this 42 degree angle, which is angle B, is opposite with the little b, 32. So we can say the sine of 42 is over 32. Now, she may have this reversed, but as long as you're consistent, it's still the same law of sines. You could do it either way. Besides, all we want to do is make sure we do it correctly, we get the right answer, right? So that being said, I'm going to solve by cross multiplying here. I'm going to take 32 times sine 17. I'm going to divide by the sine 42, and that's going to give me little c. So again, if I take 32 times sine 17, I just doing some cross multiplying, I get this value. And then when I divide by the sine of the other angle, notice I get 13.98. So now we can eliminate this one and this one. So C and D are no good. See, every time you get an answer, start eliminating choices. So now we're either guessing A or B, right? But we don't have to guess, because let's just go ahead and find A. Is A 40 or 41? Well, let's see, what color can I use? I think blue will show up pretty good. So notice I'm going to use sine 42 over 32, just like I did up here. Why? Because it was given, right? It was already set up that way. Now, to find little a, notice it's opposite big A, which we figured it out to be 121. So I'm going to say the sine of 121, because that's big A, goes with little a, right? Because they're opposites of each other. That's how the law of sines works. You always match the sine of the angle with its opposite side. So, how am I going to solve this one? Follow the black. I'm going to cross multiply this way first. 32 times sine 121. And then I know if I divide by this sine 42, I'm going to get A. So here we go. I'm going to take 32 times sine 121 is 27.4 something. But I'm going to divide that by the sine of 42. And notice the missing side must be 40.99. Well, what's 40.99? That's 41, right? And so now I know the answer has got to be B. Okay? So, here's a unit circle, because we're going to need it. I think this is the last problem you gave me. Hopefully I didn't miss any. So how am I going to do this one? Well, I notice I have cosine, cosine, and then I have a cosine with a tangent, right? And isn't tangent sine over a cosine? So that means if I times this cosine with this tangent here, which is sine over cosine, the cosines cancel, and what I really have is cosine theta equal to negative 2 cosine theta, right? Square root of 3 sine plus square root of 3 sine theta. Let's double check that real quick. So notice again right here, let me start over. I know that this tangent is really sine theta over cosine theta. The cosine thetas cancel out, and I have plus square root 3 sine theta. Okay, now that I verified that, how about we get our cosines together? Couldn't I add 2 cosine theta to both sides? Now that that's gone, I know I have 3 cosine theta equal to square root of 3 sine theta. Oh, how about we do this? How about we now divide by cosine theta? Now, why I thought about that is because now I got sine over cosine, which is tangent theta. So this one was kind of clever and tricky. And then what's cool is I can solve for tangent theta by dividing by square root of 3. And so tangent theta, that's right here, has to equal this. Now we have to rationalize this. So I'm going to do square root 3 over square root 3. And I get 3 square root 3 over 3. Because that right there is a regular 3, right? Square root of 9 is 3. And the 3's cancel. So I have tangent theta equal to just square root 3. Now my question to you is, did you check with your teacher and see if you could put your tangent information on your unit circle here somewhere, right? But here is basically what we're going to do. Since tangent theta, let me use black here. Since tangent theta equals square root 3, well, using these ratios here, I know tangent is sine over cosine. So to get square root 3, I need square root 3 over 2 divided by 1 over 2, right? So long story short, sine being square root 3 over 2, that's a 60. So now I know that square root 3 over 2, see, that's my sine of 60, over 1/2 reduces to square root 3, right? So I know my angle's got to be 60 degrees of some sort. All right, so what are my choices here? I know I'm supposed to be from 0 to 360. We just figured out it had to be 60. See, so we could eliminate that one and that one. So if we had to guess, it's either A or B, right? Well, I'm a little nervous that we could get tricked here, but hey, we got a 50-50 shot here. We know we want tangent to be positive square root 3. Where is tangent positive? Here and down here. So what's the 60 into quadrant 3? Well, that's 240, right? Because if I do 180 and then another 60, I get 240. So again, we could look at the unit circle. 60 degrees into past 180 or into quadrant 3 is 240, right? So our answer is going to be 240 degrees or 4 pi over 3. Well, it's 60 and 240. All right. Now, another thing you could do, by the way, on these answers, and here's when you're really desperate. Let's say I'm still not sure about B. Well, let's take 90 and plug it in here, and it's got to work, right? Now, what is the cosine of 90? Isn't that 0? Isn't the cosine of 90 degrees, cosine is x, 0? Well, as you can see, over here I have a problem with tangent because sine over cosine means I'm dividing by 0, right? So I'm pretty confident the answer should be A. All these videos have helped you. And please study hard. I have faith in you, and make me proud being my former student, okay? Please come again, see me tomorrow morning early, and let me know how you're doing.